Do you ever find yourself needing additional information about a storage device other than what you can get from the standard built-in commands? When you're using a GUI system, there are always a variety of applications that will provide you information about your drives. That's not always the case with the command line. The good news is there are additional non-built-in applications that can get you this information. This is B from Tay Talk Tech, and today I'm going to be telling you all about some non-built-in applications that will provide you with additional information about your storage devices on a Linux system. Stick with me. I have a favor to ask. If you like this type of video and want to see more content like it, make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell button for notifications. Also, don't forget to give this video a like if you liked it. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, or if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or emotional outbursts down in the comments below. And lastly, make sure you stick around all the way to the end to get the most out of this video. Let's do this thing. So just want to let you know it's going to be three different applications that I'm going to be telling you about today. I'm going to preface this video with I am not an expert in these commands or anything else for that matter. I will never claim to be an expert in anything, regardless of if somebody calls me an expert or not. But I wanted to go through these applications that can provide you with some additional information in regards to your drives. Typically with the built-in commands, you're going to be able to see, where's it logically located, what's its name, storage space, used, available, and all that kinds of stuff. But sometimes you want to know more than that. So that's what we're going to cover today. Some of this information will be similar to that was discussed in my previous video. If you're curious on those built-in tools, go check that video out. But it will also provide these commands will also provide you with more granular information about the disk. My goal is not to make you an expert in these commands. I merely want to introduce you to them and then allow you to explore. So let's go ahead and get into them. I'm going to show you these commands as well as how to install them since they're not built into Linux distributions. So let's go ahead. Whoops. All right. So the first one we're going to talk about is LSHW, which is going to allow us to list information about hardware. So to go ahead and install it, you're going to do sudo, sudo apt, do a sudo apt update, and keep in mind that it'll be either apt for any Ubuntu or Debian-based systems, and it'll be DNF for any Red Hat or Fedora-based systems. All right, there we go. Let's clear that out. All right, now let's do sudo apt install LSHW. And you're going to see that it's already installed in my system, so we are good there. All right, so with the LSHW command, I'm going to show you the man page for it. It's got tons of different options that you can utilize with it. We'll be talking about two of them today, or actually, yeah, two of them. Excuse me. Clear out of this. Let me clear out of this. All right, so with this command, to get the most out of it, you will want to use sudo or root privileges to execute the command. You're going to have two different things. There's going to be two that are going to be relevant because there's a bunch of different what they call class of devices that are going to be relevant to storage. And that's going to be storage and disk. Now, the difference between storage and disk storage and disk classes as far as LSHW command goes is that storage is going to give you information about the actual storage controller itself, the one that actually controls how the storage operates and all that stuff, versus the actual disk information, which is more like on the block device level. So that's what the difference is between those two. Now you have a couple different ways that you can use this command. So I'm going to show you the first iteration of it to kind of give you just some higher level information. So it's going to be sudo lshw tac-c, and then we're going to do storage. Then we're going to do tac-c again for disk, and then we're also going to do tac short. All right, there we go. And let me just zoom out here a little bit. So All right, so when we're doing just the short version, which is when you do the short version with this command, is it's going to give you a little bit well, I shouldn't say, it's going to give you a very consolidated information about this device. And we can see here that we have the classes right here. Here's the storage, and then here are the disks. So this right here, and this, these are the actual controllers for those devices. So that's why you're seeing those. Now, depending on the device that you're working with, whether it be a SATA drive or an NVMe drives. Now, keep in mind, it can be a 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch, or it can also be a SATA M.2 SSD. So that's going to differ from an NVMe, which is based on PCIe lanes and runs through the PCI bus, and that's going to be presented differently. Now, as far as getting the information goes, more specifically about these devices, is it's going to depending on what you're looking for and what type of device, is going to depend on where it's going to be at. So here we've got majority of like the identifying information. Like here we've actually got the the device name, which is going to be right here, and then we've got these two down here. And then also it's going to give us like a description of the device. Here we just got Intel SSD. It's got it cut off because when I ran the command, I was running it in a little bit more zoomed in. And then here we go. We've got these other items here, the Samsung SSD. Let me try to zoom out and run this again. And I'm sorry that for those of you on like mobile devices, but I want to try to show you a little bit more information. There we go. So here we go. We can see here that it gives us here's kind of the thing that I was talking about. If you look here, is for this NVMe drive, it's actually giving us the the type of drive and some more information about it here in the storage. But then over here in the disk, it's giving us the actual size of that device. And the same thing happens with this Samsung one right here as well. But it gives it all to us in the storage, and then also gives it to us in the disk. And then for these two SATA SSDs, it gives us both in the disk area. So it's a little bit different depending on the actual device. So now let's go ahead and expand this command, and I'm going to keep it. I'm going to zoom in just a bit for you. All right, so let's do the same command, but we're going to take out tac short, and this is going to give us a long version of that command. So it's going to give us a ton of information. Now, we can see here, and the way that this command is going to work is it's going to do it in order of how you put this in there. And you could honestly do just storage if you want to, or just disk. But since I put it in C storage and C disk, it's going to put the storage information first. And here's that Intel NVMe drive. And see here, it doesn't really give us any information about what the actual size of that drive is. But if we actually go down here to the storage section, I think it's this one right here. Where's it? These are the. Yeah, and you can see that just kind of like looking through this information is that it does get a little bit hard to read. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and take out, let's leave disk and let's take out storage. You know what, actually, let's clear this out. Let's do the same thing here. Let's do that. Actually, no, let's do storage first. And then let's do the same thing, but we're going to do disk. So we actually have like a demarcation here. Let's actually put a couple spaces in between that, shall we? All right, there we go. It's right here. It's giving it to us right here. This is the information about that one here in disk. That's that first NVMe drive. Then here's that second one. And that second one is right here. And then it gives us also this information here in regards to these. Now, sometimes though, like if it's kind of maybe more of like a cheaper or generic drive, it may only give you like generic information here, which is what it did here. This is, I think, like a Micro Center in-house brand hard drive, if I remember, SSD, if I remember correctly. So that's why you're not seeing it there. But it's going to give you quite a bit of information through here. It'll give you size, it'll give you description of it. Kind of giving you an idea what the name is. It'll give you the logical location of the device as well. It can also give you information like here about your actual SATA controller itself, which in this particular case is done by AMD. For this one, and these are, remember, when you're looking at storage, these are just the controllers. That's why you're not really necessarily seeing the size in here, but you're seeing it here because it's part of the name. But then you go down here and you also see more about it. So yeah, I highly encourage you to use this command, and I'll probably cover this command again for like other types of devices. I do plan on helping people get more information about their devices. So let's go ahead and move on to the second one. Let's clear this out. So sudo apt install HD parm. That's what it's going to call it. And this just makes me think of like chicken parmesan or something every time I see this. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's already installed on my system, so we don't need to install it again. But yeah, the name of the command is HD parm. There we go. And it gets and sets information in regards to SATA and IDE device parameters. So this will work for your SATA drives, but it will not work for your NVMe drives. So any SATA SSD, hard drive, anything like that, this command will work for it. We're actually going to go into one that's NVMe only here in just a minute. So let me go ahead and quit out of there. All right, so let's go ahead and get some more. Let's go ahead and execute this command. Now, with any kind of command that's querying any hardware on your system, it's always best to use sudo or root privileges just to make sure you get all of the information that's possibly available, because certain information will require root or sudo privileges. Then we're going to do I option here. This is going to give us information. We're going to look for information about dev SDA. And this is going to give us a ton of information as well. And you can see here, it gives us a lot. Like it gives us the, where's the one with the SU800? Not. Oh, you know what? Let's do this one. Let's clear this out. I guess it mounted them slightly differently. Yeah, I think it mounted them slightly differently this time around in a different order, which happens from time to time. Like if you just let things auto mount, it won't always mount them in the same spot. That's why you have the FS tab file, because that will allow you to set persistence as far as your mounting goes. So right here we've got the model name. I'm sorry, the model number, serial number. It'll give you some firmware revision. What else we got here? It's going to also give you the device size. If you come down here, it's a 512 gigabytes right here with device size with M right there. And then it's also going to give you some information about its capabilities, which are going to be down in this section. That's a ton of stuff, so I'm not going to go into it, but it'll tell you more about what types of configurations it supports. Capabilities, different features and commands it supports, as well as security and all that good stuff. So this can be super helpful. I don't usually have a lot of reason for this, but if you're, say if you're maybe having some drive issues and you're trying to Google and you just need some information, now you know where to get it as far as your SATA drives go. So pretty cool stuff. All right, let's move on to the last one. So what we're going to do for this one, it's going to be called nvme-cli is what it's called. Well, actually, technically, it's just the NVMe command, but it gives you basically a suite of different tools for getting information about NVMe drives. And we're only going to be scratching the surface on this, so just know that. And that's the same thing with all these commands. So if you want more information, go to their man pages. Let's do a sudo apt install. Is it nvme-cli? And it's already been installed on mine. And again, you'll use DNF if it's a Fedora or Red Hat system. All right, so let's go ahead and do some querying. See that? And we're going to go ahead and, you know what? Let me see here. Let's actually get the oops. sudo nvme tac. Let me see. Oh no, it's nvme list, and then we're gonna go ahead and put in the device nv dev. Go. Oops, I put too many. I put the whole thing there. Didn't need all that. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. There we go. And you know what? Hold on. Actually, with this command, I'm sorry. We don't need it for this one. We just need to do nvm. And we're actually going to shrink this down because there's quite a bit of information. Sorry for those of you on a mobile device again. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go ahead and get rid of this because I forgot with the list you don't need to put an actual drive there. You can just do this, and like if we go out quite a bit and then rerun it. I know it's getting really small here, guys. So thank you so much for your patience. Like if you really wanted to go out, you'd have to go even smaller. But I'm just going to go ahead and just go back to where we were. So yeah, it gives you quite a bit of information. It's going to let you know which drive. It's going to give you the. It's going to give you like the generic name of it. It's going to give you the serial name of it. It's going to give you the model. It's going to give you the. It's going to give you. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's going to give you the. Let me see here. Hold on. Yeah, so you have to get really small to see it. So this is going to be really small, but it'll give you the actual name, the generic name, the serial number, the model number, the namespace. It's going to give you how much of the drive you've used versus how much is available. You may see this is not true necessarily because all of this has been allocated through like formatting and stuff. So I think each drive reports it slightly differently because this is about correct, but this is not. But we can see the sizes here, and then it also gives you information on block sizes, which I don't believe is correct because these should be larger block sizes for this one. But yeah, we can see that here. Tons of information as far as this one goes, and a lot of the information that you'll need as far as an NVMe goes is mostly just right there. But if you want even more information, what you can do here is I'm gonna blow this up. We're gonna clear this out. Sudo nvme tac. No, we're gonna do nvme idctrl, and this is where we'll actually put the device. Because we want to go ahead and get details about a specific device. Now, a lot of this is probably not going to look like useful to you because this is other types of information that is even more specific than the stuff that we've looked at before. So if you need additional information and you don't find it underneath the first two commands, check this one out. I've never actually really found any need for this information, at least in like the work that I've done. So your mileage may vary if this is going to be useful to you or not. But yeah, I hope that one is useful because I thought it was so cool that there was dedicated commands for SATA drives and then also one for NVMe drives. I was like, perfect, I have both of those. Now, keep in mind this is not going to cover like iSCSI and a bunch of other different types of protocols, but just because I don't have the tools to set those up in my environment, at least not as of yet. Maybe in the future that might be something I'll cover, but as of now, it doesn't, because one of the things that you guys may not know is that usually the stuff that I'm covering is going to be stuff that I am like implementing myself or learning about myself, and I want to share it with others because I find it I would have found it really, really helpful if there was more videos out there kind of just trying to sum it up as easy as possible and cover, in the format that I do, to make it easier for you. But yeah, those are 3 tools that can get you additional information about your storage devices. Check out this other video from my channel. Remember, mistakes make you better, so keep on making them. Thank you so much for watching my video, and have the greatest of days.